Am I live? Hi, good morning. This is Friday and this is My Healthy Bangkok Friday Live. Today we are going to talk about immunity, immune resilience, and superfoods and adaptogen. All of that good stuff with Olga Vita, who's going to join me, I hope, in a minute. I will let her introduce herself because, to be honest, that woman has been busy. She is a very knowledgeable person for us here in Thailand, but not only. I like to introduce her as a coach, as a wellness educator, as well as a biotherapist. And today, the idea is to really break it down, the theme of immunity, because obviously this has been a word we heard a lot lately, since the beginning of the year, even more than before. But what does it really, encompasses? Hang on, am I on the right, let me see if I'm on the right account. Yes, I just had a doubt. I have two Instagram accounts. Okay, Olga is here. She's gonna confirm to me I'm on the right one. Sorry, I'm a bit silly this morning. I didn't have such an amazing sleep, by the way. So, okay, let me add her in. This is always the part that I fear. Sorry about that. Okay, so I was saying that, here she is. Good morning, Olga. Hi, wonderful.
My first time with Instagram.
Wow, amazing. Congrats and welcome. And thank you so much. And thanks to those of you who are going to watch and who are going to be watching. I know the past time we had a few technical challenges, but today it seems perfect. I can see you very clearly and I can hear you as well. Brilliant. And I see you have many interesting goodies behind you. I'm sure later you're going to talk about a few of those. Where are you now, Olga?
I'm in Chantaburi, the capital of fruit.
Yes.
So I'm enjoying my durian. It's good that you cannot smell me because I just had a piece of wonderful durian.
Wow.
Fell off the tree in my neighbor's house.
Fell off your tree? That sounds dangerous. But durian is that thing. You either hate it or love it.
Well, I'm joining the wild elephants. They sometimes come to eat over fermented durian and they are drunk and yoo-hoo,
Really?
Yeah.
So you have elephants near
and monkeys and the whole 9 yards. And when the fruit are in season, not only humans enjoy.
Yes, that's right. Well, that sounds beautiful. I've been stuck here in the city for a while and I do miss the nature. So I'm glad you get to enjoy that. All right, so today we have a very interesting topic. I do know you have a lot to talk about and a lot to cover. So without waiting, anymore, I'd like to, well, first of all, I would like if you could introduce yourself to those who don't know you yet. I was just mentioning that you're, a wellness, a health and wellness coach, an educator and a biotherapist, but this is just scratching the surface of what you do.
Well, I don't want to take all the time of explaining my wide interests because they are very wide. I'm a super curious person. So if something has to do with health and happiness, I'm in. I want to know, I want to experience, and if I really like the results, I'm very eager to share forward. So I call it the 4H system. The new information has to touch my first H, my head, so intellectually kind of catch me, pique my interest. Then I need to resonate with it, ooh, I feel that is right, that's my heart. And if these two are in sync and, I feel it, then I want to take it and put into action with my hands, my third H. And then I'm helping others.
Right.
And I noticed that as I help, as I teach, I actually learn much deeper. So it's a little bit also on the selfish side, you know, because as I'm sharing forward, I'm benefiting myself as well.
Of course, and I'm sure depending on who you have in front of you, it's different questions, different experience. So
Exactly, and sometimes this question send me to yet another rabbit hole, and you know, I discover something that I never thought about, and it's always an exchange. Yeah.
wonderful. All right. So talking about exchange, talking about the knowledge that you have and what you like to share with people. So the theme of today, again, is immune resilience with superfood and adaptogens. To start with, the theme of immunity and more precisely immune resilience, because these are two words we heard a lot lately. And now, like today, we've decided to combine them together, maybe too much as well. And like you were saying, you know, like I mean, a lot of people like to learn a lot, but then there's how to say, a jump to make between what you learn, what you hear, how they resonate with you, and how you put them in practice. So today we're going to try to achieve that with you, with your help. When we talk about immunity, it could be overwhelming. So could you help us just break it down a little? And what does it mean? What does it really mean to have immune resilience, and how does it resonate with you?
Well, you know, first of all, when you talk about the definition of resilience, it's all about overcoming difficulties and kind of rebound. You know, you get into the same shape as you were before. It doesn't matter if you're a material or if you're a human being. So it's all about kind of
bouncing back,
looking at the stressors that were, you know, pressuring you, and then adapting to it. You know, that's a hint. Adaptogens, adapt to stress. Hint, hint.
Yeah, because even the word adaptogen, we're going to get to that. We've been seeing it, I mean, personally in the press and all. And honestly, at the beginning, I thought that was like a big word, a scientific word, and I didn't really know what it was until, like looking for that info. But it's also been, like trending a lot. Maybe talking about immunity and boosting our immunity, because that's also something we've been hearing a lot about. What could you say, just to kind of make a bit of myth vanish? Could you give us some example of like common mistakes maybe that we think we know in order to boost our immunity, but we might not have all the elements to do it properly?
Well, first of all, boosting, meaning making it work more. And it's not always necessary, because some of us are living in overstimulated world, and some of our immune systems are so bombarded and overstimulated that sometimes we need to actually slow it down and support it in the other direction. So sometimes we need to boost, and sometimes we need to calm it down. And that's why we need to use some intelligent, natural sources of, this wisdom that not necessarily whip us and like run faster and just, be always on the peak and be stressed. So
and trying to do more, basically.
Exactly. So we live in the world of more, and I invite the paradigm shift from more to better, because more is not necessarily better.
That's true. That's right. So, okay, so to give a bit of like practical thoughts, well, first of all, if you maybe now or later would like to share with us on your method to know if a person, I mean, I'm sure it's very personal and case by case basis, but how to know if we need more or if we need less? Is there a way to say?
Yes, we have very sophisticated lab equipment, and it's called your lips, your tongue, your feeling.
I love it.
Yeah. So you have all the experts working for you already. So the wisdom and design and everything is already there. I usually say that our job is to stop sabotaging all these mechanisms and just to support them. And you know, a lot of times you can say if you had enough of the supplement or not by your reaction. If nothing is happening, you're not improving, there is a good chance that you didn't take enough. You know, I really like the, you know, example of vitamin C. You know, nearly 100 years ago, it was already known that you need enough of it in the right form, in the right dose, taking for, you know, the enough period of the time for it to show its efficacy. But most of the studies done use less than 1% for maybe 1 to 5% of the time, and they declare not that their protocol doesn't work. They just say, oh, vitamin C doesn't work. And in the same time, in the 40s, in 1940s, you know, Dr. Klenner documented and presented cases of curing polio, 60 cases out of 60 with 0 complications, with doses high enough. And high enough meaning to bowel tolerance. Is that
vitamin
easy?
C still.
You just take vitamin C until you have a loose stool. That's your signal. Okay, that's enough. How simple is that? And you know, it's not just polio. You know, there were hemorrhaging fevers that are caused by virus. You know, the yellow fever, the dengue fever, like Ebola, and they all respond. You know, they didn't find so far a single virus that wouldn't respond. But if you take enough for the time that is long enough. And a lot of times with the herbal preparations, the only thing that the researchers really proved with their studies, and they're lousy at making their, you know, herbal preparation. You know, I was working with my teacher in California, who was, you know, consulting Herb Farm, one of their companies that they recommend for, you know, sourcing their good quality tinctures, because they understand how to harvest and how to prepare. She suggested that if you don't know how to prepare and you don't know how to take, then the efficacy is down. So number 1 is your own feeling. Number 2, consulting experts.
And I mean, just a little bracket, but as you know, I do aromatherapy, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's in a way is when you don't know exactly what it is or what you need or how to take it, it can either not be efficient or go the other way around, and you can take too much of it as well. And exactly. I'm totally with you when you're saying not more but better, and being better informed and listening more as well to ourselves and the signs of our bodies, because like you were saying, we are really pushed forward to doing more, achieving more, and using new maybe technologies and new supplements because they sound good to us, you know, like from advertising, but we kind of suppress our own reactions, and this is a good reminder to pay attention to that. Moving on to the theme, so to understand, like from our, let's say, daily day-to-day life, what would you say are our worst enemies when it comes to our immunity broadly?
Well, first of all, it's fear. A lot of times your fear paralyzes you, and you become like obedient sheep that are very easy to manipulate. So whenever you see a challenge, a stress, I suggest taking a breath, preferably belly breath, you know, diaphragmal, the correct way to breathe. And then just ask yourself, you know, the suggestion that is given to me, you know, is it information, or I just cling to it, you know, out of the panic and the fear? Because I invite people to kind of make decisions out of this calm area that comes from the love that you want to create a beautiful health. You're not running away and hiding from the danger.
I see.
Then out of this energy.
Okay. So basically not responding to the fear we might have of not being healthy and trying, like different either supplement or things that we hear of, but rather step back and address the fear first and the stress and go back to like a peaceful state of mind. That's the first step. Or the first
Exactly.
enemy would be the fear.
So my mom gave me a beautiful analogy that I usually use in these instances. When there is a whirlpool, they're like this huge tornado, and everything is flying around, the trees, the chairs, whatever, and you are just trying to catch them and rearrange them. You're not going to be very successful. But if you come in the eye of the storm, there is a calm, and the storm is still there. You're not going to stop the storm, but you will have an angle, and you will make a much higher quality decisions out of there. So I always say that the first mistake we do is just to rush out of this energy of fear. So the first suggestion is to calm down.
Okay. That's a good advice. All right.
And the breath is the easiest tool to do that.
So the breathing, being calm, and then, okay, and how, in order to support us further, once we've taken those steps of addressing stress, going back to a calm state of mind, what are the other steps that you usually, like recommend or for yourself or in your own life? What are your, your reflexes or your go-to, if you do have any?
Well, now you just brought to my mind my system that I call the 1, 2, 3 healing system. Okay. When I realized that it doesn't matter what I'm studying, East, West, ancient, modern, all these different things, they can come together into this simple, like super easy to understand 1, 2, 3 system. So first we take away or stop the inflow of something that is hurting us, something that is too much. I call it toxicity.
Oh, sorry, it's paused here on my side. Oh, I missed the good part.
Oh,
sorry, I missed the good part. Yes, I can hear you now.
You can hear me. Okay.
Could you just repeat the first step? Because I didn't hear.
The number one, you understand where the stresses come from.
Yeah.
And you kind of stop the inflow and you lower them. Okay. So this first step is to address toxicity, and this first step is called detox.
Right.
So this detox can be taking care of your body, like if you accumulated toxicity and you just stop eating junk food. Yeah. Or toxicity can come from artificial lights, because it's not just junk food, it can be junk light, all this LED energy saving lights. They're extremely damaging for your eyes, for your brain, for your skin, for your thyroid, and the whole 9 yards. So just being more in the sun and less of this artificial junk lights. Then EMFs, we're in the modern world cannot stop them because it's really impossible, but we can lower what
You're talking about the emission.
Yeah, so not carrying your phone in your pocket, putting it in the purse, and when you don't need it, put it on airplane mode, and don't charge it in your bedroom. Like little things like that can be.
I'm saying yes. I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing all of that. I'm a terrible.
You see, detox can be a very versatile term. So just charging your phone outside of your bedroom is already something that you stop the stress, right? And so it can be mind detox. You just don't watch news, all the junk information that maybe it's too much, maybe it becomes toxic to relationships.
There's a time for everything, because we need to know what's going on. But if you're in a place where you're not in the right place emotionally, or you're not available to those, they're gonna harm you more than just inform you. So I think again, there's a time and a place for that.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, toxicity is not the name of a substance or a thing. For me, toxicity is a principle of too much.
Yeah.
Is it too much for you now? it doesn't serve you, okay, let go, detox, release it.
Yeah.
So that's number one.
Okay.
Number two is the exact opposite of that. You look around and you see, like, for your health and happiness, you have some needs. Are these needs met fully, or there are some deficiencies? So
Okay.
if your food is not very nutrient dense, you
Mm-hmm.
don't eat something that is, fresh and local and blah, 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 you will have nutrient deficiencies. If you're eating hydroponic foods, or, you're cooking in microwave, you destroy all the life force. Because,
Right.
food is nutrients, it's also energy and information. So if any of this is lacking, you will create deficiencies. But you can be deficient in knowledge. That I hope that we're, serving our community right now with.
Yes,
this.
absolutely. It is very interesting to have your I mean your holistic approach, really, because that's the idea. So detoxing and then refueling, I mean refilling your cup with stuff that you do need, and not some junk again once you've done
Exactly. So I call it to nourish. If you find the areas of deficiency, you nourish yourself. You bring something in, something that you need for the optimum state. And, in the beginning, we talk about fear and love. So in my clients, as we talk, I see very often that there is deficiency of self-love, self-acceptance, deficiency of self-respect. And, they're trying to give it to others, but how can you give something you don't have?
That's very true.
You create like a business transaction on credit, then you will have to ask them for it back, right? So it's very...
Yeah, that's true. When you put it that way, it sounds obvious, but when you're in it, it's sometimes difficult to have that step back and realize that, oh, like this is what I'm doing and it is not supporting my health. So.
Yeah, so deficiency of love is huge, and it's nice to generate it because everybody has the seed. You just need to, really nurture it and water it, and, so that you will have all this, beautiful stuff. Or you can compare it with water. The more you have, then you have the fountain of this, love and respect that will naturally, like the spring will nourish everybody else around you.
That's true.
Without the effort, just, effortlessly, like abundance. So that is deficiency. It's number two. Deficiency and nourishment is number two.
Yes.
And number three is, I call stagnation is a problem. So any kind of pain, physical pain, emotional pain, even some people say spiritual pain, comes from interrupted flow. When something is broken or something is stuck, the signal is pain.
I see.
And breathing can create the circulation. Acupuncture, acupressure, massages, drinking more water, like water flow. Hello, there is a connection, right?
Absolutely. It's good because it makes sense.
Different ways.
Yes. So that's very interesting. I mean, I never thought of that pain is basically a signal that there's like an interrupted flow of energy, and I mean, maybe not life, but there's something broken that you need to address. And the physical pain is actually, and it's funny, I've been thinking about that a lot lately, that whatever pain we do feel, or whatever ailment, or like health challenges, they're here for a reason. They're actually warning signs. So they're, in a way, a blessing, so we can, like address before it becomes worse.
I want to ask you what we do with this blessing usually. When you feel pain, you take...
Most of people will try to shut it up by taking
exactly.
Pain. Yes.
So when your house is on fire and you have unpleasant loud sounds and lights and sirens, what do? You turn their fire alarm off, you turn on the other side and sleep again, right?
No.
No. But we do it with our temple of soul. We do it every time. And we think it's very smart strategy.
Because and people would say, oh, I'm busy, and this is true when it comes to, I mean, that's another debate. but sometimes going for more a natural way of functioning and giving your body back its function
Yeah.
sometimes takes more time than just popping a pill, but the result is not the same. It's clearly not the same. I think it has become more part of the collective understanding and way of living. I mean, I'm hoping, because this is, you know, the industry that I don't like to call it industry, but the environment that we're in, and we believe in that. But I'm happy to have people like yourself with your perspective to really, you know, like make it more obvious. So when we have a pain, we don't shut it up, we address it.
Yeah, so, you know, if you have a broken leg, you can take enough painkillers so you can run. Do you really want to run on a broken leg and hurt yourself further? Maybe.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these are a tough question, because we do that. I mean, I would do that on some occasion, because, you know, you have commitments, you have things to do, but on the long term it's not sustainable. And clearly,
well, I'm not judging their
yeah,
decisions. I'm just bringing the awareness. If
yeah,
your decision comes from a space of awareness, it's your birthright, because all of us are, you know, the free, magnificent beings that you know, have the capacity of making decisions for ourselves. And I hope we will retain it even after all this craziness that is happening, because the freedom is something that is inside of you, and it comes with awareness. You know, it's, you know, it starts with the self-love, and then you're curious, you know, to be aware of what is happening and what are the possible solutions to problems. And then you make decisions, and then I will respect them. But a lot of times we just go as zombies without this awareness, and then sometimes we don't even understand that you know, there are other options, you know.
So coming back to your 3 steps, so it's detox, nourish, and the third one related to pain. Basically, how do you call that step?
Yeah, so I call it, the problem I call stagnation, and the solution I call movement or flow. Okay. So the interrupted movement is a problem, and restored movement, or you can call it circulation or flow, you know, whatever you want to call. So stop and go.
Right. So these are...
And, yeah, these are the 3 principles. It doesn't matter what problem you're addressing, body, mind, and spirit, they will work on any plane.
Right. So it's a very useful tool you're sharing. Amazing. Now, so since we wanted to address again, like, adaptogens, let's get on that word. What is it?
Well, I already kind of hinted that our immune system, first of all, it's the only thing that cures you. Not a doctor, not a herb, not a, you know, guru, not some, you know, light from anywhere. So everything has to be used by your immune system, right? And then it's the immune system that you know, does the healing. And what I like about adaptogens is that it doesn't push your immune system to do anything. It supports it to do whatever it needs to do to adapt to the situation.
Right.
So adaptogens, it's actually the term that was coined in Soviet Union. It's where I'm from. And, you know, for me, it was something that I grew up with, because my mom and my dad were athletes, and adaptogens were, you know, the secret weapon of the Russian elite athletes, and the cosmonauts and the polar explorers, and, you know, the coal miners, and all the people who needed to, you know, do them like typing and, you know, all the mental work, and do not make mistakes, and work for very long hours, and, you know, survive temperature extremes, and you know, the high altitudes, and all sorts of stressors. It doesn't matter if the stress is infection, or the stress is, you know, physical exhaustion or mental exhaustion. It doesn't matter.
It will adapt.
Adaptogens will help you with any of them. You can adapt to any stress. That's the beauty. You don't need to be PhD in that. You know, you just take a tweed, drop it in the boiling water, you drink it. The rest is your inner wisdom and the wisdom of this plant. They will, you know, work together for you.
Okay. Do you
You just need to
recall,
give the opportunity. And I know, since you asked about what adaptogens are, I would like to kind of give you a fast definition of
right?
what makes you know, herb adaptogen. And so number one, they are non-toxic. All adaptogens are tonics, and so it's very safe to take them. Number two, they are non-specific. You know, you don't need to have very precise knowledge. You know, they work on all your systems and functions. Number two, they are bidirectional. You know, the bidirectional, what it means, sometimes you can have high blood pressure and your spouse low blood pressure, and you can enjoy the same cup of tea, and your pressure, you know, will go opposite directions. It's like magic.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
you're
like
drinking the
balancing in
same.
a way. It will go
I'm
in the
sorry?
direct. It's like balancing. It would go in the
Exactly,
direction that
exactly.
you need it to go
Yeah,
because it
there
adapts.
are
I'm getting.
fancy words to describe it. They call it amphotetic. So amphotetic means exactly that, that, you know, whatever direction you need, you will get it.
I see.
That's, you know, really, you know, blows your mind when you think about it. And then it works on the cellular level. So that is something that is very, very deep, and it works on the informational level as well. So the longer you take this tonic, the more benefits you get. So cup number one of this tea will help you, but not as much as the cup number 1000. And by the way, adaptogens are called by different names in different cultures. In Ayurveda, they are called rasayanas. Not all rasayanas are adaptogens, but all adaptogens are rasayanas. Same as
that's getting technical here.
In Chinese medicine, the tonics also, you know, not all Chinese tonics are adaptogens, but all their Chinese herbal adaptogens are tonics. So it's like all the traditions have it.
I see. Just coming back to what you were saying about cup number one and cup number 100 or 1000, does it mean that, because for some I'm not going to say supplement, but some things we do consume, we could get advice to, you know, like stop after a certain period of time. But what you're saying is once you have, you know, like included adaptogen in your lifestyle, this is something you could continue on the long run, or as long as you feel you need it. There's no such thing as you have to stop after some weeks or some months.
Yeah, you don't have to stop, but most of the time it just happens naturally. You run out of it, and until you buy again, or sometimes you just get bored and you switch to something else. And like you said, sometimes it's just the feeling, you know, you were excited and then like, nah, and then you get excited again. So pretty much most herbs that are not designed for acute situations, it's still nice to allow this natural wave to happen. So you can pulse even with adaptogens. And, you know, also as you saturate yourself with one of them, you can try something new and see, you know, how you react to another one. Just, you know, go on this adventure and the journey.
To get a bit, you know, like into your lifestyle and your
exactly,
like,
yeah.
How many of adaptogens do you personally consume, or do you have a routine? Is that something you can share, or you rather not?
I don't want to scare you because I'm
you're
I'm a
hardcore.
little bit on the extreme end, you know. I have just probably too many to like. Yeah, I'm a big believer.
Examples that are easy to start with, that are easily available for people living here in Thailand. Maybe you could pick a few that are, you know, like special to you, or that are easy to get. Otherwise, we'll get frustrated.
Yeah, so I call them their low-hanging fruit. Something you just reach, grab, and put in the mouth. So probably their most delicious and also the cheapest in macro is the goji berry.
Right.
So when I make my trail mix, which I recommend doing by yourself so that there are no preservatives and like all sorts of cooked nuts and God knows what kind of oils. So make the trail mix with the amazing super nuts and add some goji berries that happen to be an adaptogen. Or you can put them as Chinese do in pretty much anything they cook, the soups, the rices, the vegetables, the teas, and, or you can infuse your lemonades or vinegars or anything else to make it more delicious. So
basically, you can like sprinkle them a bit everywhere. It goes with
you put them in your Buddha bowl and chia pudding. You put them
a bit
in
of color and
it's colorful, it's sweet, it's tasty, and it's it's an adaptogen that is delicious. And then another one that is very easy is reishi or lingshi.
Yes. All right. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, that is something that is extremely versatile, and people who are very curious about it, I recommend reading. This is one of the Bibles of adaptogens.
Yeah.
So you just go in and you whatever you find curious, like for example, you just Google adaptogens and they will give you a dozen names, and some of them will be, I know where to buy that, that's easy for me. So what is going to do for me? So you just go, okay, let me see, what is doing for me, and then you go into their the dose and all this. Like for example, in reishi, they are talking about the psychospiritual support, the immune support, all this, hepatoprotective, the brain protective. It's like I don't want to go into too much detail because just on reishi we can do one talk, because
where do you find that? Do you find that in Thailand easily?
You go to macro, you buy a dozen of adaptogens. Huh?
I've never been to macro. I will.
on Rama 4, it's nearly opposite of Soy 26.
Okay, I've seen that. So
it's probably the easiest for people in Prompong area. You just go from Sukhumvit to on 26, and it's right there.
I'll make a trip there if anybody else wants to go.
So you can get very inexpensive adaptogen. You can get astragalus that is also from there.
I have a question, because sometimes, and when you don't know about those, or you don't know where they're coming from, because you were mentioning the fact that they're not toxic, and in my head, like, have they been treated chemically, and this, does it matter, or is that another source of
it does matter. Now we're talking about the low-hanging fruit. If you want me to go into the best options, I can give you the best options, but then some people can be intimidated by that.
I see.
So the best option is to go to a crazy expert who is like a crazy scientist, like dedicated to the lunar phases and the right soil for the right plant, and they know how to grow, they know how to harvest, they know how to prepare. They are super passionate. So I'm not extremist, but I love these people who are extremists in their area, who like really go deep into what they do. And with essential oils, I usually buy from producer who just does one or two things.
Yeah.
And we'll look each other in the eye, and I can smell the quality. I can see the shining eyes and like the pride and excitement. And so for me, something that is grown in the correct type of environment and soil, and so consume, so the whole spectrum. But we are talking about the luxury. So there is a low-hanging fruit, something that, okay, I'll start right now. You go
because
to...
that's the thing. Sometimes when you want to get started on something, if you're waiting too long to find the perfect producer and all, you might get, like either bored or demotivated, and then the moment is gone. So you'd say it's good to start with whatever's available, and
it's
see.
called analysis paralysis.
Yes.
So in Tops, in Villa, in the gourmet market, you can find a dozen of different adaptogens. Super easy. The reason I mentioned macro is because it's not only easy, it's also half the price of gourmet market.
Yeah.
So when we are talking about availability in Thailand, you can have all these internationally renowned things, but you can also get something local. For example, there is this, the black or purple ginger root. In Thai, they call it krachai dam. I think I brought it here.
I love this table over there. I'm so intrigued by what you can do.
So, can you see?
Yeah, we can kind of see.
So this krachai dam, on soy 24, you can get the powder of it. And there are preparations with it. And
soy 24, I saw a store like that. Isn't that close to this to Bistro restaurant? There's a little store.
Yes, it's very close to it. Yeah.
Right.
So that's considered to be the Thai ginseng. They're not related, but because ginseng is the ultimate adaptogen that everybody knows about.
Yeah.
So all their legends of old man, virile, and
yes,
having kids at 100 years old. So pretty much all adaptogens have legends and history like this. For example, jagulang is called immortality elixir. You drink jagulang tea, maybe with some stevia, and you never die.
Of course. But at least it gives us an idea of like where we headed with that, and what's the intent, and certainly. So I know it's a tricky question, because how to know, for people who are more like, how do you call that? Not down to earth, but who likes the proof and the scientific approach and all that. How to know if it's working?
We can offer these people first, do their own research, and then I have folders and folders of double-blinded, placebo-controlled, randomized scientific studies. So if people want to speak this language with me, I'm all for it. So I can speak rainbows and unicorns, or I can speak this, scientific language. Just contact me. We can speak whatever you want.
I see.
I can switch.
Just to in order to understand as well, and to introduce what you do with your client on a one-on-one basis, I would imagine that the steps that you explained earlier are like some common step to explore with the people who come to see you, and things like adaptogen would have a key role in maybe the approach you'll have to helping someone on maybe recovering a more vibrant health. Do you customize your recommendation on what adaptogen to take according to each situation, or how do you work with those?
Well, of course, the private consultation by definition is addressing by individuality, and it's not just that we understand your typing. We can go again using different modalities and different terms that are the closest to the person. We can use Ayurvedic terminology, talk about the doshas. We can talk about different elements and energies, like in Thai or Tibetan or Chinese medicine. We can talk about more like westernized types of sympathetic, parasympathetic dominance. And then we go really like zoom in into you. So normally I invite people just to tell me story the way they want to tell. In the beginning, you know, I've been doing it for 20 years. So I've been through a lot of different phases of coaching and consulting. And I develop all these fancy questionnaires and like, you know, efficiency, right? And then I realized that if people answer these questions, they're kind of directed, and most of the things that they would tell me over a cup of coffee, they are not telling me in this, you know,
Yeah,
fancy,
on
efficient forms.
paper.
So now I kind of more laid back, and I simplified, and I just want to hear the story, where you are now, you know, what was happening in your life, where you would like to be. And then we can create a map together, because I'm not doing it for myself. So, you know, I try not to impose my own ideas and goals.
Okay.
You know, it should come from the person. And then, you know, when we understand where the person is, and, you know, the kind of prehistory and their ambitions and goals, and, you know, then it's much easier to target. And again, we use the same three principles. We see what is sabotaging the person, body, mind, and spirit. And we try to kind of get less of that, either release it through detox, or, you know, and modify their habits and lifestyle. And then we bring in what was needed, you know, we nourish the person and recreate the flow. And sometimes recreating the flow can be as easy as having their micro movements every 15 minutes. You know, the reason I'm using this is because I want my immune system and lymphatic system be, you know, pumping.
Yes, and in action rather than just
so
sitting.
you know, if you are sitting and typing, you can pretend that somebody called you and just turn around. Guess what happened? You know, you just created this flow that was it.
Yes.
So tiny things like that can work.
Amazing.
And all the steps will take you somewhere. And then, you know, I usually say that the real change takes time. So if you base it not on the fear, like people, oh, you know, summer is coming. My body doesn't look good. You know, if you are doing it out of this energy, it will never work in the long term. You can achieve something for a short time. You know, these Big Loser shows.
Yeah,
you know why they never have their reunion shows? Like they never have, like, you know, people coming in from last season. Why? Because they were fighting with themselves. I invite people to be nonviolent. And instead of being, oh, I'm a survivor, I'm a fighter, you know, I invite the different paradigm. Let's create something so beautiful and something so amazing and something so delicious that it kind of crowds out all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't even notice how, oh, look, my, you know, the weight went away. Oh, my energy is up. Oh, this. So they just come as a side effect of enjoying your life more.
I love it, Olga. And thanks for saying that, because the interesting part is you come with your, you know, with your knowledge, your expertise, and the adaptogen and all of that you have. What I love is the message. And this is what I'm learning as well while meeting people working in health and wellness, is you each have your own tools and what you learn. But the bottom line is often this positive message of not coming from a place of fear or fighting yourself, but going, being gentle in a way on ourselves, and giving ourselves the permission as well to go through these changes and go through.
Exactly. Permission is the key. I say that in my diet, the Vita diet, everything is allowed. We go away from I want but I can't.
Yeah.
And we
switch
so much to I can but I don't want. Because you love yourself so much. Like, look at this princess. She deserves the best.
Of course. Yeah. So you learn how to want the good stuff for yourself.
Exactly.
And okay, going back to the adaptogen, I'm just wondering, when you talk about the detoxing, the nourishing, like process, where do the adaptogen start? Do you use them for detoxing as well, or do they come later?
No, this is the beauty. They are so powerful yet so gentle. You can bring them in at any moment. So some of my clients are already, on the fourth stage of cancer. They are not moving much. Some of my clients are crazy athletes, the Ironman, triathlon, all this, like, super achievers. And adaptogens find ways everywhere and in between. A lot of new moms, that most people start to go into organic and non-toxic when
Yeah.
there is a new human being in the family. I see
I
it a
stopped
lot.
drinking coffee when I got pregnant because
Yeah.
it was recommended, and then I don't drink coffee anymore, like once in a blue moon, but I don't, because it's I mean, that's my personal case, but I realized that it's not, I don't find it fulfilling me or good for me, and I'd rather switch to something that's gonna be more, supporting my health better. Why not, if I can?
Yeah, so
However,
you
some
become more
adaptogens,
aware, and when you become more aware, you can actually have dandelion coffee with reishi and chaga.
yes, I was
I'm from
about to
Siberia,
say,
so I cannot not mention chaga. It's the Siberian, the king of medicinal mushroom, the king of adaptogens. A lot of mushrooms are feared and not used enough, but most of them, especially the hard tree mushrooms, are highly, highly medicinal. I just want to throw a seed of information. Just think about it, that the diseases of the plants are not transferred to us, right? We're, have different diseases. And when we still benefit from the defense chemicals that the plants produce when they are attacked.
yeah.
But the mushrooms is actually something that is attacked by similar problems. So when they develop their defenses, we benefit, like, 1,000 times more. So it's really, really amazing group, to use. Yeah.
I see. Is again, I'm looking for practical information all the time, just like that, out of the blue. What's okay? Tell us one go-to potion that you create. How many adaptogens you put in there? Is there one for people who really want to get started? You said the goji and the reishi and all, but how to make something tasty, even with coffee, because you mentioned, and a lot of people mix coffee with adaptogen to support it and transform it into like a super drink. Is that something you recommend?
Well, if you are making a coffee, it's nice to upgrade it to their, the super tonic. And by the way, caffeine is the great cognitive tonic as well. And it's not for everybody. Like any strong drug, you can create addiction. And before we start on the medicinal coffee, I usually recommend going on a coffee detox and see if you can go for 1 week with no withdrawal symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
like no emotional imbalances, no headaches, no, like, energy going down. For me, it's a sign. I want to
Yeah.
see if you're addicted or
Yeah.
you're consuming coffee normally. So when we establish that you're good with coffee, then we can upgrade it to the adaptogen. And I would recommend, like, for example, you brew water first. You brew adaptogens into the water before you add the coffee. And
Okay.
I love their medicinal qualities together with their pleasure, with the spice of their herbs that I add there. So I would put star anise and cloves and cinnamon, in sticks, and the actual substances, not the powder. The powder are used for other purposes. So I would put all these beautiful spices that kind of add to the coffee experience, and then maybe add also some adaptogens, you know, like a piece of Eleuthera, which is called Siberian ginseng. It's not ginseng, but Eleutherococcus is. So everything will be in sticks. This is Eleuthera, this is cinnamon, and so everything will be like this. And you just simmer it for a few minutes, and then you brew your coffee there. So you will get all the pleasure and benefits of the coffee itself together with this. And coffee can spike your insulin, and the cinnamon can lower it down because the cinnamon is great for people with insulin resistance. By the way, we're talking about immune system. Probably I should mention that people with insulin resistance are very susceptible to infection. And the statistics is quite horrible that 90% of us are, with the high insulin, higher than normal, and, have this blood sugar imbalances. In some people, it manifests as hypoglycemia when, you just get up fast and you're kind of dizzy, and you don't eat for a while and you are hangry. You are just in glucose mode. So all these coffee things that I mentioned can actually help you to balance it out, and it makes it aromatic and delicious. But what I normally do for adaptogens is I create a concoction that I call gin tonic, adaptogenic gin tonic.
Ooh, I love that. That's my kind of poison.
Yeah, it actually,
tried it.
This name stuck as a joke because we were talking about the Chinese three treasures, right? About the qi, the sheng, and the jing. And the jing is the kidney energy, something like your treasure of ancestral energy. And some people just spend it too much, don't sleep, and like do crazy things. But some people actually put the deposits there. So adaptogens is the way to accumulate this energy that you can actually give to your children as inheritance. So gin tonic is what it is. It's a tea. But the tea is done in two different ways. If we're talking about the hard particles like this, big and hard, you need to decoct it for a long time. So everything I put into the pot, I usually use the slow cooker for that, the ceramic one, not non-stick. Huh? Don't put toxins in your body with the non-stick rice cookers and slow
Some
cookers.
of us will really have to go for shopping after that.
Yeah, so try to get stainless steel or ceramic. Ceramic, I love. I love water from ceramic. It's more okay. Don't go there. Back to gin tonic. So you separate everything in two parts. So if we are talking about jagulang that is fluffy and soft, it doesn't need to be decocted. You just put it in the end, right?
Right.
So
like
all the
veggies, I guess. Some are soft.
all this soft, gentle flowers and leaves you put in the end. In the beginning, you put all the hard things.
The thicker
you
ones.
allow it to decoct for at least half an hour, sometimes an hour, and very big pieces, maybe even 2 hours. So depending on the material you get. Then you add the soft part, you close the lid, and you wait 10-15 minutes, done. So I usually create a big pot of that. And then some of it I drink hot, some of it I drink room temperature, the whole day. Well, cold is quite stressful. So, we are talking about the kidney energy, and the ice is very stressful for kidneys. So it's kind of counterproductive. But if you enjoy it, it's okay. It's not like,
it's a start.
Going to,
maybe.
It's just better to have ambient temperature. Pretty much everything you eat and drink, it's better not to have too hot or too cold. By the way, when you are sick and people say you need to drink hot, no. You need a lot of warm drinks. not hot and
Yeah,
not
not
cold,
hot.
because hot can be as irritating and stressful as
Okay.
cold. So
All
that
right.
is it.
I
You
think we
create
have.
the mixture that you can find.
Yeah.
I don't like to give recipes, because when you give recipes, something is missing and people don't do it.
All right.
So find what you find.